Pilots and crews of Task Force Red Dog practice day and night. They use the latest night vision and laser technology to pinpoint targets and operate around the clock. The unit serves as a type of airborne 911 for infantry troops on the ground. The call they got for New Year's Eve seemed routine.
It was a beautiful day, and you know, it was just another mission, just another day. So I mean, you just don't think about what's going to happen.
Feels in. On December 31st, we were tasked with a convoy escort for Bravo Company, 1st of the 87th, and it was going to be based out of Orkney. Convoy escort was a mission that we'd done several times to this point. We had a good rapport with that particular unit.
We got called on this mission to go cover a convoy coming back through one of the passes, and it was just a routine mission.
They wanted us to recon the area around them. As usual, they want us to secure their perimeter as they consolidate their troops. When they're all in one area, they're a juicy target.
I think there was 10 trucks, roughly 10 to 13 vehicles. They were stopped north of the area where they thought they were going to get ambushed.
And this is an area that had been an ambush site in the past.
But the lead vehicle now is down about maybe a click and a half all the way down to the town.
The only other thing that was unusual was a car coming through one of the wadis with the flashing lights coming towards the village.
And at that particular time is when they basically did a coordinated ambush.
We still think that could have been some signal.
They all opened up at the same time.
No sooner than the car get back, a little further away from the village, the convoy, which was halted at this time, came under fire.
The first indications that I had that the convoy was being fired upon was seeing red tracers flying in front of the aircraft, generally from the ground at a 45-degree angle up towards the sky.
And then at that time, we got from the ground guy, from the forward air controller, clearing us to fire and saying something to the effect that everything in the hills is enemy, kill it.
We started suppressing the fire where we were seeing it coming from. At this point, the convoy was somewhat buttoned down, and the comms that we would have normally expected weren't coming.
Once they opened up, then we basically just saw the enemy tracers and opened up on them, the enemy tracers, and the guys on the ground were firing back in certain positions as well.
As soon as I saw that, I nosed the Cobra over to get the tracer origination site and the gun sights and started to fire at the enemy.
It was a classic ambush site, and it was set up classically, where they cut the head of the convoy off.
I really was in disbelief that they would try to engage the United States while we were right over top of them.
They actually weren't scared of the helicopters. They fought regardless, because their ambush was there and they're going to execute.
This was the first time that I had been in the Cobra in a firefight with bullets going both ways.
Making the X'd out eyes.
It was the first time that I had seen hostile aggression from an enemy force while I was flying the Cobra.
Yeah, this is the first time the Marine Corps Reserve helicopter light attack squadron has had confirmed kills in combat.
Good guys over here are dying and putting themselves in harm's way every day, and bad guys are dying and putting themselves in harm every day.
They're not to be taken lightly. They're fighting for a cause, and they're pretty smart at it.
There's no quick fixes in the world. We're going to win, and people need to recognize that it's just going to take us a long time to do it, because the enemy is not stupid. If they were, this would have been over a long time ago.
I'll have a closing thought in a moment. In Vietnam, 37 years ago, I learned to love the Huey helicopter. To this day, I still salivate when I hear that familiar thwack, thwack, thwack of a Huey overhead. It delivered food and water to us when we were out in the field with U.S. soldiers and Marines. They flew us into combat, and often at great risk to the pilots, they got us out again when they came to pick up the dead and wounded, and reporters were allowed to hitch a ride. I never felt more alive than to be sitting on the floor of a Huey with my feet dangling out the open door, the hot, sticky atmosphere of Vietnam cooling as we went to altitude. Yes, often as not, there were dead men in the body bags right behind me. That is the hideous part of war. You can love it and hate it at the same time. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
This has